Hey everyone, Father Lane here. Today we're going to look at Verbum and how to set it up, how to use it from the beginning. Once you've installed Verbum on your device and once you've allowed it to index its library, which will take a while, but that's an important part of the process. It allows Verbum to go and search across the vast resources that we have in our SVDP Verbum library. You'll see when you open up most likely a home page. It'll look something kind of like this, although it's different from person to person. You have several options as to how you want it to look upon setup. If you want to change these options, you can go over here to the vertical three-dot menu in the upper right-hand corner, click there, and then you go to Program Settings. And when the Program Settings open up, I prefer to open my Verbum to a blank layout, and we'll talk about how to build a layout in a little bit. But if you like the home page, you're welcome to choose to open it to the home page. That's the default. Again, I prefer to keep mine at blank layout. There are other options there. One other thing that everyone needs to do here at SVDP is to change your citation style from whatever the default is to Turabian. Turabian is the setting that's closest to our style guide here at SVDP. These other options here, copy citations, hyperlink copied citations, copy footnotes, I tend to change these from time to time based on the project I'm working on, so you can leave those however you want. Again, there's an option here to copy footnotes as either whatever automatically they're set to be, as a footnote or as text. You can set your Verbum if you'd like. You can set it in Spanish or in any number of other languages. Of course, if you put it in Korean, I cannot help you if you don't know what something means. Anyhow, so that's the program settings. Incidentally, Verbum automatically saves whatever changes you make, so when you're done, all you have to do is hit the X icon there, and we're done. Okay, so we've got Verbum open and we have a blank screen that looks like this. How do we get things on the screen? We're going to come here to this book menu, the library, and what we can do here, you can see I have the word Mark in the search bar here because earlier today I was working on the Gospel according to Mark, and so I can open up to any number of resources that have the Gospel of Mark as part of the title or as part of the data. So I've got a commentary. This is an excellent commentary on the Gospel according to Mark. I was working on from this particular commentary on Mark chapters 1 through 8 a little earlier today. But suppose I just want to look at the Bible. Here you can go to back to all. Again, I was using this earlier, so what you don't want to do is scroll through all of your resources. I have over 1,000 in my Verbum library. It would take forever to do that. You want to use this search bar, not the one at the top here, this one, find resources, and you want to, so suppose I'm looking for a Bible, I can just click the word Bible, and you can see we have a number of different ones here to choose from. The one I use in class is the New American Bible, Revised Edition, which is the same one that we use at Mass, so I can click on that. That's one option. Another option, if I know the abbreviation, you can see Verbum has a number of abbreviated titles. You tend to memorize them, I find, after a little bit of practice, so I can just type in NABRE, and it comes up just like that. Still another option to get it open, certain resources, if you use them frequently, you can take the resource and you can drag it up here to this blank spot in your top bar. And you can see how I've put a number of them up here. These are resources I use the most frequently. Whatever you do, once you click on it, it will open. Worth noting here, the resource can take up the whole screen as we have it right here, or if I want, I can have it take up just the left side of my screen, or just the right side of my screen. For now, I'm going to leave it just on the left side of my screen. So I drag and drop, and there it is. And you can see I was working on Mark chapter 7, verse 25 earlier today. As you can see, I've put a number of my frequently used resources up here on the top bar. These are my favorites, indicated by the star. So I've got the New American Bible, this is the Hebrew Bible, the Greek New Testament, the Anchor Bible Dictionary, the Theological Dictionary of the Old and New Testaments. These are two very powerful word study resources. Also the HarperCollins Bible Dictionary, the Latin and English Roman Missals, the Code of Canon Law, the Vatican II documents, the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the New Interpreter's Bible. I paid for this. This is this particular resource we don't have in our Verbum library, and we also don't have the Missals. Some of these I've paid for over the years, as well as a couple of other sources. The Sources of Catholic Dogma, known as Denzinger in the trade. This is a resource with a bunch of historical theological documents, and then I have my Latin dictionary over here when I'm working with something in Latin. So for now, suppose I'm just trying to research Mark chapter 7, verse 25, and I want to look not just at the English, but I also want to look at the Greek. I can simply click on the Greek New Testament, which is this resource right here. I click on it, and it opens. Now the next thing we want to do to make this even easier to use, we want to make it so that I can scroll in English and Greek at the same time. So to do that, I'm going to go to my vertical 3-dot menu. You'll notice each resource has one of these. This one up in the upper right-hand corner controls the whole program. The one here in the upper right-hand corner of each resource controls just that resource. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to insert what's called a link set. There's a number, you can have up to 6, A through F. I'm going to click A, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here in the Greek Bible. And now, when I scroll down, notice how I'm scrolling in the English, but the Greek is scrolling with it. It's a helpful resource, helpful thing to do. But I can do the same thing. Now, suppose I want to look at a commentary. So let me go to Mark. Mark. Now I'm going to click. Sometimes if there's a lot of resources, I can just click on rank, and that will get me back to where I want. Suppose I want to use the Sacra Pagina commentary on the Gospel according to Mark. So I'm going to click that option right there. And notice it opens the commentary to where I am in the Bible. Now if I want, I can click the vertical 3-dot menu and hit Link Set A. And so now as I scroll in the Bible, the commentary will scroll with it. Sometimes it's more of a hassle, though, to have the commentary linked with the Bible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the vertical 3-dot menu and click None, so that unchecks it. So now, as I scroll in the English Bible, the commentary stays put. Suppose I want to not just look at this in English and Greek, I also want to look at it in Spanish. I can use the Biblia de Jerusalén, which is abbreviated BJL. So again, I go back to all of my resources, BJL, the Biblia de Jerusalén Latinoamericana, and I click on it, and now it opens. First thing I see here, I think the font is too small. I prefer larger fonts, as you can probably tell. So I'm going to go to the vertical 3-dot menu here and increase the font size by a few notches, and that's what I do. And then I want to look at the English and the Spanish at the same time, so I'm going to drag the Biblia de Jerusalén Latinoamericana over to the right, and you can see it goes where I want it. Finally, I'm going to add a link set here so that the Spanish will scroll alongside the English. And so it does. So that's our library. We'll look in another video on how to organize our library to make it a little bit more user-friendly. Let me say a few things about the other features of the top bar. You've got these 3 menus: Docs, Guides, and Tools. Docs, the Docs menu covers things that you create. So you can see I have here a lot of notebooks that I've created when I've taken notes or when I've been doing research. I've put together bibliographies, other such topics. We'll talk about how to create that in another video. We'll talk about how to create some of these things in another video. Guides, these are things that Verbum creates. In the Guides menu, Verbum has a number of already preloaded resources to help you go deeper in some dimension of the biblical text. I use the Bible Word Study a lot, but I prefer to access it not from this menu, but from somewhere else. The Outlines feature, on the other hand, is very helpful. Suppose I want to look at the Gospel according to Mark, and I want to pull up an outline of the entire Gospel. Suppose I haven't worked much with the Gospel according to Mark, so I want to look and see how it can be outlined. So I click that, hit the Go button. It takes a little bit of time for Verbum to look through all my resources, but you can see it now has pulled out an outline from a number of different resources in my library, and there's still more further down. So if I wanted, I could go to this outline from the HarperCollins Bible Dictionary, which I use with some frequency. And we see we've got a handy little outline, which can help me understand the entire gospel a little bit better. I mentioned a moment ago the Bible word study, as I X out of some of these menus I'm not using anymore. The Bible word study. Suppose I want to look up this word children. I want to know a little bit more about what was Mark trying to articulate by his use of this word, which occurs twice here in verse 27. I can right-click on the word. Always make sure that I've got this orange vertical bar with the circular icon. This goes with what we call the lemma. That is the dictionary form of the Greek word that's being translated children. I'm going to make sure that's illuminated, and then I'm going to click Bible Word Study. And it comes up, and you can see I've got a definition. I can even click this icon. It'll
Teknon.
If you can't read Greek, it'll read it to you. You can look up the word in any of your different lexica. Again, I have a few dictionaries you don't have, just because I've spent the money to buy them. You can see how the same word is translated in the New American Bible, or if you wanted to use a different translation, you could change that. You could go to Settings over here and look at one of the other Bibles you have. If you click on this little graph here, it'll show you how the word is used in different books of the Bible. Even here, it's plotted throughout the biblical canon. So all the hits are illuminated in red, and you can see how the words is used throughout the canon. And if you scroll down, you can find out a lot of other interesting information about how the inspired author used that word. So much for the Guides menu. The Tools menu allows you to analyze the text in a number of different ways. I use the Notes tool and the Highlighting tool with some frequency. We'll look at that in another video. The one I want to show you for now is the Atlas tool. I use this in class a lot. The Atlas tool is very, very handy because it shows you a number of physical maps, and you can zoom in and out. It'll plot along the map where the various events took place. You can see I was working recently here with this map on the geography covered in the book of Isaiah, and you can see it covers really the entire ancient Near East. But if I click this, what we call the hamburger menu, it'll show me all the different maps that I have, and you can see these maps are organized by the different biblical eras, and you can see we also have them in English and in Spanish, which can be very, very helpful. So we go to the life of Jesus, and I scroll down. These are in the order of the events as they occur in the Gospels. Here we're in a section of Mark's Gospel where Jesus is visiting Tyre, Sidon, and eventually Caesarea Philippi. That's where the confession of Peter happens. So we're going to click on that map. This might illuminate our understanding of this passage. And we can see, and you can see we can scroll around here. We can zoom in if we want to learn a little bit more about this place where we are. You can see that's the Dead Sea. You can see the Decapolis, which is mentioned in this part of the text. We've also got a legend that tells us about a number of the different places Jesus is going here. And so we can see how Jesus leaves his homeland, you can see where Nazareth is, over here in Galilee. He goes north. He goes to this foreign area over near the Mediterranean Sea before leading his disciples back to Caesarea Philippi. When we're done with the atlas, we just X out of it. And then when I've finished all of my work for one work session, I can close whatever menus I'm not going to reuse. But suppose I want to come back at some point and have this English Bible, this Greek Bible, this Spanish Bible, and then this commentary open, because I'm working on something here in the Gospel of Mark. To do that, I can click this Layouts button here, and I can save this layout as a named layout. You'll see Verbum automatically saves some layouts you've used in the past. But suppose I want to call this English, Greek, Spanish Study. I can do that, hit the arrow button, the Go button, and it will save this layout as one of your saved layouts. You can see I have some saved for different things I've worked on. Then when I'm done, I can hit the Close All Panels button, and it makes everything go blank. And now I'm set up for when I come into Verbum again, I want to resume where I was. All I have to do is click the Layouts button. I click the layout we just created, and here it is, it comes up. Or suppose I don't want to do that. I can close that one, and instead open up, or this is the layout I use for my Pauline Letters class with my seminarians in Third Theology. I click that, and now I've opened up my English and Greek Bible to 1 Thessalonians. So these are tools you can use to save you a lot of time and go much deeper with the text, as well as a whole number of other resources that we have here on Verbum. In future videos, we'll look at some of those other resources and how to go deeper with them.